Okay, so the first section here is quite simple percentages, so just so that we know how to do it. First one is 10% of 900. So the way we do 10% is we just divide it by 10. So sometimes you take off the 0, sometimes that doesn't work, but in this case we can just divide it by 10 by knocking off the 0. So A should just be 90 grams. B, 25%. Now what we do first of all is we find 50%. So 50% is half of it. So we'd write down that 50% equals $34. Halve it again, 25% gives us $17. So B is $17. C, we've just talked about what 50% is, so we just do half of it. So half of 82 is going to be 41 pounds. D, 1%. Now this is a crucial thing. This separates people that can do percentages reasonably well and people that really struggle with it. To find 1%, initially you're going to find 10%. So 10% of 200 kilograms is 20 kilograms because you divide it by 10. But then to find 1%, you need to divide it by 10 again. So 1% of 200 kilograms, divide that by 10, is going to be 2 kilograms. That's it. So D is 2 kilograms. Then we've got E, which is 75%. Now we've done most of the work for this anyway. But if we start off by finding 50%, so 50% is going to be 8 years. Then if we halve that again to find 25%, that's going to be 4 years. So if you've got 50%, you've got 25%. If you add those together, that's going to be 75%. So if we add these two together, you're going to get 12 years. So the answer for E is simply 12 years. And it's this last thing about the building blocks. You take 50%, which you can find easily, 25%, which you can find easily, and use those to find 75%. That's how you're going to do the harder percentages. So if we then have a look at section 2. So the first thing we want to do is 30% of 900 grams. So we start off with our first building block, which is 10%. So 10% of 90 grams is going to be 9 grams. Now if you know 10% is 9 grams, 20% is going to be double that. That's going to be 18 grams. 30%, well you've got 20%, you've got 10%, add those together, and you're going to get 27 grams. So A is going to be 27 grams. Next one, you've got to find 5%. So if we've got 10%, we should be able to find 10%. It's the first thing we do on most of these questions. Find 10%, and that's going to be you knock off a 0, or you divide by 10, and you've got $2. So if 10% is $2, the way you go down to 5% is you just halve it. So half of $2 is going to be $1. So 5% of $20 is $1. Next, 55% of 360. Now we've just looked at how to find 5%. So if we do that, find 10% of 360 first of all. So 10% of 360 equals 36. So 5%, you need to do half of that, and that would equal 18. Now you should also know how to find 50%, because 50% is just half. Now half of 360 isn't straightforward, so what you might need to do is you might need to do half of 300, half of 60, and then add those together. So break 360 down into 360. So half of 300 is 150. Half of 60 is 30. Add those together and you've got 180. So now look at the building blocks. You've got 50%, you've got 5%. If you add those together, that's going to give you 55%. Add 18 and 180 and you're going to get 198. So the answer for question C is 188 pounds. Okay, question 3 is starting to look a little bit trickier. So it's exactly the same process, just got to do it a few more times. So we've got to find 29%. So step 1, find 10%. So 10% of 480 equals 48. 20% is going to be double that. So double 40, double 8, and that gives you 96. Find 1%. So again, we need to do 10% and divide that by 10, which equals 4.8. In this case, 4.8 meters. Now, if 1% is 4.8 meters, 2% is going to be double that, so that's going to be 9.6 meters. 4% would be 2 lots of 2%, so it's 9.6, add 9.6, and that's 19.2 meters. If you need to, just do it to the side. 9.6, add 9.6, so 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1, 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, so that's 19.2. 5% is going to be half of 10%. So if 10% is 48 meters, 5% is going to be half of that, which is 24 meters. So we've got, then we need to decide what we need to add together to get 29%. So 20%, we know what that is. 5%, we know what that is. And we know what 4% is. If we add those three together, we're going to get 29%. That's going to be 96 plus 24 plus 19.2. And these are meant to be the non-calculated questions, so if we then add those together, it's going to be 0.2. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 9 is 19. Then we've got 9 plus 2, which is 11, plus 1, which is 12, plus 1, which is 13. So 139.2. So 29% is going to be 139.2 meters. Now there's a way to check on your calculator, which you may remember from the lesson, or there's another one which we can do in the second section 4 to help you out with that. Anyway, moving on. Question B, 17% of 68 pounds. So, again, we start off with the first building block, which is 10%. Let's change colour. So 10% is 6.8. Remember, this is 6.8 pounds. So what we need to do is make that £6.80. So that's 10%. 5% is going to be half of that. So half of £6, half of 80 pence, £3.40. Then we need 1%. So 1% is we move the decimal point along again. So that's going to be 0.68 or 68 pence. 2% we need to double that. So double 60 pence, double 8 pence, and that's £1.36. And then we need to add up the building blocks that get us to 17%. So that's going to be 10%, 5%, and 2%. So 10% was £6.80, 5% was £3.40, 2% was £1.36. So if we add those together, 006 is 6. 8, 4, and 3 is going to be 15. 6, 3, 1 plus the other one is going to be 11. So it's going to be 11.56, which in money is £11.56. So moving on to question C. We're not going to do 10% to start off with here because we've got 55%. So I'm going to start off by doing 50%. So 50% is 72. Because that's not straightforward, I'm going to do 70 and 2. Now half of 70 is 35. Half of 2 is 1. So half of 72, if we add those together, is 36. So we know that 50% is 36. And then I'm going to do 10%. So dividing this by 10 is going to be 7.2, which is $7.20. So 5% of that is half of $7.20. And just in the same way as we did before, that's going to be $3.60. So we add those together. So 55% is $39.60 because we've added 50% and 5%. And that's all the non-calculated stuff that we need to do. So now we need to have a look at how we do these on a calculator. So the first one we've got is 32.4% of 17 kilometers. So we need to work out what 32.4 is as a multiplier. So if we've got 32.4%, the way we go from multipliers, so from percentages to multipliers, is we divide by 100. So dividing by 100 also means moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So if we do 32.4 divided by 100, and like I say, you can use a calculator because you've got it, that's going to be 0.324. So all we need to do is 0.324 times by 17. And if you do that on the calculator, 0.324 times by 17 is 5.508. Next, we've got to figure out what 36.7 is as a multiplier. So 36.7, we need to divide it by 100. And we get 0.367. So next we've got to do 0.367 times by 29. 0.367 times by 29 is 10.643. Same thing again. 42.5% as a multiplier, so 42.5% divided by 100 equals 0.425. So 0.425 times by 996 equals 423.3. And again, this is in dollars, so we can put a 0 on the end. Oh, the other one, sorry, was in pounds. So we need to round to the nearest penny, so that should have gone down to £10.64. Now, section 5, even though it looks different because they're all over 100%, there's no difference to it. So we start in exactly the same way, if you've got a calculator. So 174%, we need to get that as a decimal, as a multiplier. So we divide by 100, and that gives us 1.74. So it's going to be 1.74 times by 762. 1.74 times 762, and that equals 1325.88. So notice that over 100% means you're going to make the value bigger. So next, 217. 217 as a multiplier is going to be 2.17. So 2.17 times by 479 gives us 1,039.43 grams. Next, 755% of $420. 755 goes to 7.55. So 7.55 times by 420 is $3,171. Okay, so the next few questions. There's a couple ways to do these. So we can either find 4% then add it on. So let's do that first of all. So 4%, if we do that as a multiplier, it's going to be 0.04. Remember, we divide by 100. So 0.04 times by 60 equals 2.4. It's going to be £2.40, and then we add it on. So that's going to be £62.40. Then if we do the same again for B, so 8%. If we divide by 100, it's going to be 0.08. So 0.08 times by 12 gives us 0.96. We need to add that on. It's going to be 12.996 kilograms. Now let's see if we can do it a different way. If we've got, so because we're increasing by 5%, if we start off with 100% and we're going to increase it by 5%, that's going to give us 105%. So 105% goes to 1.05. So we can cut out the middle step just by doing 1.05 times by 450. However, if you want to do it the other way, that's absolutely fine. Either way, you should get 472.5 grams. Continuing doing it this way for D. If I'm going to add 10% onto 100%, so 100% plus 10% equals 110%. So that's going to be 110% equals 1.10. So it's going to be 545 times by 1.10, and that equals 599.5 meters. Whichever way around you got that, that's absolutely fine. So if we do the two methods for section 7, so we're going to decrease £10 by 6%. So let's make some space here. So 6% is going to be 0.06, because remember we need to divide by 100. So if we do £10 times by 0.06, we get 0.6, or in terms of pounds, £0.60. So we're going to take 60 pence off £10. So we do £10 take away 0.60, and we end up with 9.4 in terms of money, £9.40. The other way to do it, again, for B, if we start off with 100%, we're going to decrease it, so we're going to take away 8%, which equals 92%. So all we've got to do is find 92%. So 92% equals 0.92. So 25 times by 0.92 equals 23 kilograms. Next one, we're going to decrease it by 10%. So it's off with 100%. Take away or decrease it by 10%, which gives us 90%. 90% equals 0.90 because we divide by 100. So 0.90 times by 236 equals 212.4, and that's grams. And so that's all section 7 done. Well, I've got 2 more sections to do now. Okay, so the next question. The head teacher was proud to point out that since he had arrived in school, the numbers of students had increased by 35%. How many students are now in school if there were 680 when the head teacher started at school? So the whole thing about this is with the new GCSE. The questions are getting a little bit more complicated, but only because it's problem solving. The math is still exactly the same. What we're doing is 680, and we're going to increase it by 35%. So there's 2 ways of doing it. There's either finding out 35%, adding it on, or we start off with 100%. We add 35% to get 135%. We turn it into a multiplier by dividing by 100, which is 1.35, and then we multiply that by 680. 680 times by 1.35 equals 918 students. Of course, that would be exactly the same as if you worked out 35% by doing 0.35 times by 680, and that would have been the extra 238. Then you add that on top of it and you get 918. Either way is exactly the same. Section 9, so the last section of your homework. On the last day of the Christmas term, a school expects to have an absence rate of 6%. If the school population is 750 pupils, how many pupils will expect to see on the last day of Christmas term? So we start off with 100%. We're then going to take away the top 6%, leaving you with 94%. So if you've got 94%, 94% as a decimal is 0.94. So we just do 0.94 times by 750, and that gives us 705. So 705 students there on the last day. Doesn't matter which way around you did that. If you got the correct answer, fantastic. Well done if you got them all correct.